When Diddy's arrest made headlines last September, Cat Williams saw an opening.
When Diddy's arrest made headlines last September, Cat Williams wasted no time weighing in. He shared an AI-generated mashup on Instagram that combined Diddy's mugshot with Wesley Snipes' iconic New Jack City character, captioning it, "Diddy about to snitch on everybody." The post spread across social media almost instantly, with many fans echoing the same reaction. If anyone was going to cooperate to save themselves, it would be Diddy. But Cat didn't stop at a single joke. Think back to his older podcast appearances, where he casually mentioned names like Tyler Perry, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, and Ludacris. At the time, many dismissed those comments as nothing more than personal attacks. Since then, however, several high-profile figures, including Jay-Z, Aaron Hall, Harvey Pierre, and others, have surfaced in connection with the broader legal story surrounding Diddy. Suddenly, Cat's remarks seemed to carry a different weight. Was he simply making jokes, or was he hinting at something much bigger? It's time to connect the dots between stand-up comedy and one of the biggest scandals in the entertainment industry. During his appearance on Club Shay Shay, Cat explained that he had set out to do something no one else had attempted. He believed he had figured out the industry's algorithm and wanted to expose it. According to him, the original version of his material was so ruthless that it could have destroyed careers. In the end, he removed what he called the knockout blows and left only the jabs. His point, he said, was to let the people he mentioned know that he knew their real stories without revealing everything publicly. When asked if he would ever tell those stories, Cat declined, saying he wanted to protect his own integrity while suggesting that many of the people involved would eventually be exposed on their own. Not long afterward, lawsuits connected to Diddy began making headlines, leading many viewers to revisit Cat's earlier comments. Some commentators argued that his predictions suddenly seemed far less unbelievable than they once had. Allegations also emerged claiming that Universal Music Group CEO Lucian Grange had close ties to Diddy and was aware of events surrounding the now infamous parties. Those claims remain allegations, but they fueled growing speculation about how far Diddy's influence may have extended. As more lawsuits became public, one filing alleged that hidden cameras had been used to secretly record guests. According to commentators discussing the case, if those allegations are proven true, anyone who attended those parties could have reason to stay silent, fearing embarrassing or compromising footage might exist. Whether the recordings allegedly captured illegal activity, infidelity, or other private moments, the possibility alone has become a major point of discussion surrounding the case. Cat had also joked years earlier that people could walk through Diddy's home and witness guests engaging in various sexual activities. At the time, those remarks were widely dismissed, and Cat himself was often labeled as unreliable. But as allegations surrounding Diddy continued to emerge, some observers began wondering whether those old jokes had been pointing towards something real all along. When asked whether entertainers are ever pressured to compromise themselves sexually in exchange for success, Cat reflected on his own experiences. He recalled being surprised by the influence Harvey Weinstein appeared to have in Hollywood, and said he quickly realized some powerful people simply weren't accustomed to hearing the word no. Even so, Cat insisted he never believed those pressures applied to him because he only cared about doing good business. He explained that whenever he found himself in difficult situations, he followed one simple rule: ask what the superhero would do, then do exactly that, regardless of the consequences. One of Cat's earliest targets was Tyler Perry. On the surface, it sounded like another comedian taking shots, joking that Perry couldn't convincingly play a man. But beneath the punchline, Cat was making a broader point. During the early years of Perry's career, he received industry support and valuable connections that helped bring his independent films to a wider audience. Projects like Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Medea's Family Reunion helped launch him into mainstream success. Whether those relationships played a decisive role in his rise remains open to interpretation, but Cat encouraged audiences to look beyond the jokes and question the connections that helped shape some of Hollywood's biggest careers. From there, Cat turned his attention to Ludacris, taking his criticism a step further with exaggerated, conspiracy-style humor about how some of Hollywood's biggest opportunities come together. Although those claims remain unsubstantiated, Cat pointed to Ludacris' long history of working alongside major names in the music industry through performances, festivals, and tribute events. While many view those collaborations as the natural result of a successful career, Cat argued they reflected the influence of a powerful inner circle operating behind the scenes. During one interview, Cat recalled what he described as an unusual conversation early in his career. He claimed that both he and Ludacris were presented with the same opportunity, saying one of them would eventually receive a massive Hollywood payday worth hundreds of millions of dollars. According to Cat, Ludacris accepted that path while he chose not to. He insisted he wasn't bitter about the outcome, but used the story to reinforce his belief that certain opportunities in entertainment come with expectations that many people never see. When asked whether speaking publicly about these topics made him fear for his own safety, Cat acknowledged that what he was attempting was difficult. He also made it clear that many of his comments, including references to secret organizations, were presented with humor. At the same time, he encouraged viewers to think critically about recurring patterns within the entertainment industry instead of dismissing everything outright. Cat returned once again to one of his most familiar observations, arguing that if certain rituals or expectations truly existed in Hollywood, audiences should be able to recognize recurring themes across the industry. He pointed to the repeated use of male actors wearing dresses in comedy, insisting that his criticism wasn't aimed at the performances themselves, but at what he believed those patterns represented. That naturally led back to the question many people were asking: how did any of this relate to Diddy's legal troubles? To understand that connection, the story shifts to 2024. In March, federal agents executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami as part of an ongoing federal investigation. Authorities seized electronic devices and other potential evidence during the searches. Several months later, a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging Diddy with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. As the investigation continued, newly filed civil lawsuits intensified public attention by naming additional high-profile figures, including Sean "Jay-Z" Carter, and allegations connected to an incident following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Jay-Z has denied those allegations, and the claims remain part of ongoing legal proceedings. Legal experts explained that the large law enforcement presence during the raids was standard procedure rather than evidence of unusual circumstances. Because investigators anticipated encountering armed security and needed to preserve evidence safely, tactical teams were used while officers conducted a careful, methodical search of each property. Investigators also addressed questions about why portions of the homes appeared damaged after the searches. According to legal analysts, authorities were primarily searching for digital evidence, including small electronic storage devices that could have been concealed inside walls, furniture, or other hidden locations. Every room was reportedly processed systematically as investigators cataloged potential evidence. After the federal indictment was unsealed, prosecutors alleged that Diddy organized and controlled events they referred to as freak-offs, which they claim were frequently recorded electronically. The indictment further alleges that recordings were used as leverage over participants and that victims were controlled through financial support, housing, career opportunities, monitoring, drugs, and other forms of coercion. Diddy has denied the criminal allegations, and the case remains ongoing. Public attention increased again when an amended civil lawsuit added Jay-Z as a defendant. According to the filing, a woman alleges that when she was 13 years old, she attended an after-party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards, where she claimed she was sexually assaulted by both Diddy and Jay-Z. Jay-Z has denied the allegations, and the matter remains before the courts. The investigation also renewed interest in Diddy's inner circle, including members of his family. During the March 2024 raids, Justin Combs was briefly detained at the scene before being released without charges. Despite widespread speculation online, no criminal charges have accused Justin Combs of organizing illegal parties involving minors. At this stage, the criminal investigation remains focused on Sean Diddy Combs, and the legal process is still. Cat kept the focus on Tyler Perry by pointing to one of his own major investments. During an interview, he confirmed that he had purchased a former military base, explaining that he simply followed the example of someone who had already succeeded. Tyler Perry had transformed a military base into a movie studio, and Cat said he wanted to do the same. But he quickly shifted the conversation back to one of his long-running criticisms. According to Cat, Perry's continued use of the Medea character raised questions that extended beyond comedy. He argued that Perry became one of the most successful figures in Hollywood while consistently portraying a character in a dress, contrasting that with actors like Samuel L. Jackson and Denzel Washington, whom he claimed never had to take that route. While others argued that Perry was simply serving an audience that enjoyed the character, Kat maintained that his criticism wasn't about popularity, but about the choices that accompanied that success. Kat also repeated claims involving Tyler Perry's alleged connections to Diddy, suggesting he had personally seen Perry at one of Diddy's parties. He went further by referencing actors Tim Reed, Durrell, Tank, Babs, and Landman Rucker, implying that changes in their careers deserved closer attention. Those remarks fueled even more speculation online, although Kat offered no evidence beyond his own observations. From there, Kat turned his attention to Ricky Smiley. He suggested that Smiley's success wasn't built solely on talent, but was also influenced by the powerful circles he entered early in his career. According to Kat, exclusive gatherings and relationships with influential people could open just as many doors as ability alone. As Smiley went on to build a successful career in radio, television, and comedy, Kat's jokes about him became part of a broader argument about how careers can be shaped behind the scenes long before the public notices. During one interview, Ricky Smiley spoke openly about his personal life, confirming that he had been married for 12 years before divorcing. While the conversation remained lighthearted, it stood in contrast to the speculation surrounding him, highlighting the difference between public interviews and the rumors that often circulate online. Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer weren't spared either. Kat has repeatedly accused Steve Harvey of taking one of his television concepts and claimed that Cedric borrowed one of his best-known jokes years earlier. While those accusations generated headlines, Kat's larger point centered on the relationships and influence that exist throughout the entertainment industry. He noted that both comedians had publicly appeared alongside Diddy at charity events and other high-profile gatherings, arguing that those relationships reflected how influence is built and maintained in Hollywood. Whether viewers see those appearances as ordinary networking or something more remains open to interpretation. The discussion expanded even further when old photos and media coverage involving Diddy and Lori Harvey resurfaced. Their public appearances attracted significant attention at the time, especially given Lori's previous connection to Diddy's son, Justin. Media outlets closely followed the relationship, with speculation ranging from pregnancy rumors to questions about how the relationship fit into the broader celebrity landscape. Although much of that coverage remained speculative, it added another layer to the public conversation surrounding Diddy's network of relationships. Kat also suggested that Diddy's influence extended beyond Hollywood itself. He pointed to appearances by well-known religious leaders at entertainment events attended by celebrities, executives, and other influential figures. In Kat's view, those moments demonstrated how closely connected the worlds of entertainment, influence, and public image had become. By mentioning those names, he implied that Diddy's reach extended into places most people would never expect, adding another dimension to the ongoing controversy surrounding the music mogul. Those comments sparked even more debate as other commentators expanded on Kat's claims, suggesting that powerful industry figures could allegedly help shape careers behind the scenes. Some pointed to examples of celebrities whose careers accelerated after building relationships with influential people, arguing that success in entertainment often involves much more than talent alone. Others rejected those conclusions entirely, viewing them as speculation rather than evidence. Kat eventually shifted his attention to Kevin Hart, describing him as an industry plant whose rapid rise, in Kat's opinion, reflected powerful backing behind the scenes. He questioned whether Hart's biggest opportunities were simply the result of talent or whether recurring connections to influential figures played a larger role. While Kat never presented evidence tying. As the investigation unfolded, commentary surrounding Diddy's family quickly spread online. Some personalities claimed that Justin Combs had been swept into the case alongside his father, drawing comparisons to other famous father and son duos. However, despite the speculation circulating across social media, there have been no criminal charges accusing Justin of organizing illegal parties involving minors. As it stands, the criminal case remains focused on Sean Diddy Combs, who continues to deny the allegations against him. The federal raids themselves attracted enormous public attention. Dozens of law enforcement vehicles surrounded Diddy's properties as agents carefully secured the scene before beginning their search. The scale of the operation fueled widespread speculation, but investigators emphasized that the search followed standard federal procedures designed to preserve evidence and ensure the safety of everyone involved. As the legal proceedings continued, more familiar names began appearing in lawsuits, witness statements, and media reports connected to people within Diddy's professional circle. Some individuals were identified as potential witnesses, while others were mentioned because of their business relationships or appearances in civil filings. Among the names that surfaced in public reporting were Interscope co-founder Jimmy Iovine and Universal Music Group CEO Lucian Grange. While being mentioned in legal documents does not imply wrongdoing, Cat Williams argued that many of the people he had referenced years earlier were now appearing somewhere within the broader story. Whether that reflects coincidence or simply the interconnected nature of the entertainment industry remains a matter of ongoing debate. Attention also turned to former Donity Kane member Dawn Richard after new court filings alleged that, following her lawsuit against Diddy, he repeatedly attempted to contact fellow former bandmate Kalina Harper. Prosecutors claim Diddy called Harper more than 50 times in a single day and reached out a total of 128 times over 4 days, alleging those communications were part of an effort to influence her testimony. Those allegations remain part of the ongoing legal proceedings. Kalina Harper also faced criticism online after posting that Dawn Richards' allegations did not match her own experiences. Some interpreted her comments as defending Diddy, while others argued she was simply describing what she personally witnessed. Given the intense public attention and the reported attempts to contact her, many observers viewed her position as particularly difficult. As more documents became public, online commentators began examining connections between influential executives and major figures throughout the music industry. Names such as Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Berry Gordy, and Lucian Grange were repeatedly discussed across social media and online commentary, largely because of their long-standing roles within the entertainment business. Although these discussions fueled speculation, simply appearing in public reporting or sharing professional relationships with Diddy does not, by itself, suggest involvement in any wrongdoing. Ultimately, the developments surrounding Sean Diddy Combs extend far beyond internet rumors. Federal indictments, civil lawsuits, witness testimony, and court filings have placed his business dealings and professional relationships under extraordinary scrutiny. At the same time, many well-known figures have been mentioned for very different reasons, ranging from long-standing industry connections to appearances in legal filings. Those distinctions remain important, as being referenced in court documents is not the same as being accused of criminal conduct. Cat Williams has maintained that many of the names he spoke about long before the investigation are now resurfacing within the broader conversation. Whether those connections carry deeper significance or simply reflect how closely connected the entertainment industry has always been remains an open question. As the legal process continues, the courts, not public opinion or online speculation, will ultimately determine what the evidence proves. The discussion concluded with news that commentator Christian Hansen confirmed he was working on launching his own podcast after repeated encouragement from viewers. His announcement generated excitement among supporters eager to hear more of his analysis as the story continues to develop. If you found this breakdown interesting, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Which revelation surprised you the most, and which part of the story do you think deserves the closest attention? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.